Gamers around the world, welcome everyone. Today we got a new patch notes that just came out fresh out of the oven like 15 minutes ago. Alright, 15 minutes ago. I knew about, obviously, because I'm talking with devs, I knew some of these changes. Maybe there's some that they haven't announced, I don't know. But we're about to go through them and I'm about to decipher them, talk about them, and give my opinion on them. Let's go. Alright, remappable hotkeys. Okay, remappable hotkeys, that is covered. New mod options. We have added additional terrain types for modders that spawn just one instance of each terrain type, of each main resource type. Gold, small, and large. Okay, cool. Balance. Now that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Herbal medicine. Healing rate improvement reduced from 100% to 60%. With the addition of attack move healing in the last major update, we're seeing you all bringing far more monks to the battlefield. This change is mostly targeted at the Delhi Sultanate, who can stack really high healing on elephants, but it's also a way to temper the effects of attack move healing in general. Me, including other pro players, suggested to just not make healing stackable, but they decided to go with this. I mean, it's a nerf. And I think healing is a lot better now because you can move to heal. You don't need to, like, before you had to like put them on hold or you had to target fire, like target your units which you want to be healed. Now it's like a lot easier, so yeah, it makes sense. Regarding Delhi itself, I do feel that Delhi is good on land maps, but Delhi suffers quite a lot on hybrid maps because their ships suck ass. I'm slowly getting worried for Delhi. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say they suck, but I am slowly getting worried. Remember when months and months ago I said I am getting worried for Mongols because they're getting nerfed over and over, right? I remember that. And then look what we got now for Mongols. So I am getting worried for Delhi. Elephants, just wait. I know already. I've seen the patch notes. Survival techniques. Cost reduced from 100 gold, 50 wood to 75 gold, 25 wood. Research time reduced from 45 to 25. I find this one funny. This upgrade is like that kid on the football team that like nobody picks, and they keep throwing in like, oh, but it's better now. Oh, it's less research. Oh, it costs less, and nobody cares. Like nobody's getting it. Someone might get it now, maybe, but it's like, at what point do we just give it out for free? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Siege engineering, research time reduced from 45 seconds to 30. Again, one of my suggestions was to be able to build rams within your own starting TC. I actually think I saw that in a Twitch chat and I like that. They decided to make siege engineering research less time, which you still gotta invest into it, which is the bigger issue. It's not the time, it's the cost of blacksmith plus that research. RAM cost decreased from 300 to 250. This is one of the suggestions that when I did the cutie patootie patch I suggested, and I think it's a good change. I don't think RAMs are that good to cost 300 wood. And they say these changes are aimed at making a defense against tower rush easier by reducing the time to access RAM construction and the building cost of a defensive RAM. We're also aiming to make feudal aggression more viable against turtling players. Alright. Yeah, survival techniques only affects boar and deer. That is right. And that is the issue of it, isn't it? Like that change, this one, whatever. Scout. Now, these ones are interesting, by the way, because these ones, for me, came out of nowhere. Train time increased from 20 to 25 seconds. So this is huge, okay? This is a nerf to Rus, first of all, right? Because they produced third scout from Hunting Cabin and a scout from main TC. So this is huge. 5 seconds is a good amount of time. Alright, this also, I mean, nerfs professional scout strategies, but no one goes for them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it is interesting, and now I know people are going to say, like someone already asked, are you going to make second scout now? Probably still am, right? Like, the 5 seconds doesn't make it so that the second scout is not viable. It will delay your economy a little bit, though, so I find this change weird. Like, I don't know what the reason for it is. I don't know why. The time specifically, but okay. Rus needs 4 scouts at least. No, Rus needs 3 scouts. 4th I go for, but a lot of players don't. A lot of players stick to 3. Health regeneration reduced by 50%. Now, this one's just weird. I don't know why this is done. This is just weird. This one I get, right? Scouts are like very annoying in the early game, and they can kind of like annoy people and then they regen, but I don't know if I like it. Like, I kind of enjoy the early part of the game where you're like harassing each other with scouts and then they regen and then you run away. So this is gonna make it so that you're less active with scouts. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I see why they've done it, right? I've seen why they've done it. This one's weird. Scout production time increased from 20... What? Okay. Reducing the height... Oh, this is a huge one. Reducing the height of stealth forests from 500 to 100 to allow for scouts to see through them reliably without obstruction. This one I love. I don't know if you guys... there was a stream or 2 ago where I said, dude, it's so fucking annoying, these stealth forests, and I almost said I can't wait for the patch. Because I was so fucking annoyed playing on high view. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago I said it on my stream. I was like, these fucking stealth forests are so annoying. And I almost said I can't wait for the patch. And I almost leaked, but I didn't. But yeah, so with this change, scouts will see further into the fucking stealth forest. Because it is so annoying to walk like you can't see anything. And there's like a sheep 3 seconds from you, but you don't know because you can't see shit. Like, what's the point of the scouts? Right? I understand other units not seeing in the stealth force, but why are scouts not seeing? That's they're scouts. You know what I mean? Love this change. Scouts could sometimes have their vision blocked due to terrain height or placement with certain stealth trees without their vision to be able to see through the stealth forest more reliably. Now, this is for scouts. This is not for all units. So, this is a great change. IMO. This is a great change. Love that. This one's a weird champ. This one... Early Horsemen, Vanguard, Men-at-Arms, and Spearmen cost to advance to the next tier reduced from 75 gold 25 food to 35 gold 15 food. Research time reduced. I found this one weird. I just found it weird because it's like, is that really an issue? Like, it's 35 gold and 15 food. I mean, it might as well remove it. Like, that's nothing. But what this does is, let's talk about where is this good or bad. It's a buff to, technically, English men-at-arms from Dark Age to Feudal, which, It's a buff to Mongol Horsemen openers. Like, if you open Horsemen in Dark Age, it's a buff to Mongols. It's a buff for Mongol Spears, right? Which, thumbs up, Mongols need help. And the most important, it is a buff to any Civ against French Knights. Except English, I guess, because their Spearmen get auto-upgraded to Feudal. So, it's one of those changes, like, sure. I think it buffs the correct Civs, like Mongols and Civs against French, so I don't mind it. I just found it a little weird. That's it. Now, research time reduced from 30 to 15. Does this include Delhi? I don't know how that works. I mean, I'm assuming not the Delhi upgrade is going to be 15 seconds, but does their upgrade get reduced as well? But, sure. Buildings, defenses, no longer... Oh yeah, this is a huge one. This is a huge one. Noobs around the world. Static defense buildings will no longer auto-target rams. When defending a ram push, defenses will get stuck attacking rams since they do so little damage. It's possible to force defense to attack other targets manually, but we won't give defenders more breathing space to focus on managing more interesting elements of combat. We want to give defenders. Now, I don't know exactly how this works. I don't, like, if a ram goes in first and attacks the tower, tower will attack the ram. Does it switch to another target? It switches? Okay, that's insane. If if it targeted a ram first, because ram is the only thing in the range, and then you target it on a unit, and then it starts prioritizing units, I get that. But if it's switching from ram, that's kind of crazy. I mean, that is a buff to towers. This is aimed at low skill players, so they probably don't send the ram first. After reviewing one of the recent replays, what I know about low league games is they go Chamber of Commerce with like 4 traders into stone walls. So I don't think they build rams. I mean, I don't know. This is like definitely a change for lower leagues, but it is don't be fooled. This is a buff as well at high level for sure. Like not having to click. Like I don't know if you guys like when I play, right? I constantly retarget fire on the units, and it does take part of the skill away, right? Because I personally got very used to targeting and retarget. I also keep by my TC. Like if I'm defending, I put my army on 1, TC on 2, and then like tower on 3, and I constantly retarget. But now that that's gone, it does take away a little bit of a skill from the game at a high level. But I can see it's a great thing for low levels because it makes defending easier. But it's like at the same time, they want the ram strategies to be more viable, but then they buff the towers. But that's sure. It's a huge change though. Huge change. Town center weapons. Reducing the number of garrison slots from 20 to 15. Default weapon attack interval increased from 112 to 188. Garrison air attack interval increased from 112 to 188. Which means that TC will be shooting slower, not faster. What do you guys think about this change? I don't know what to think. I need content creators to tell me what I think. There's been a lot of complaining about like horsemen being useless, and it's because you can, you know, put 20 villagers in TC and then the horsemen can raid. And the TC just killing everything, especially in lower league games where like the TC has too much DPS. This change, I'm pretty sure I can talk about this because I'm not allowed to leak stuff, but I can talk about, I think, like the thought process behind it. Their worry is that the game is becoming way too castle oriented. Since the ram nerfs and being able to retarget fire with TC, the feudal all-ins have gone way down in chances of happening, right? And a lot of people are rushing castle, doesn't matter what civ. Like we've seen English rushing castle, we've seen Mongols rushing castle, we've seen HRE rushing castle, Delhi tries to get insta castle. I mean, to an extent even like China wants to get to castle for SVPs. Now, some of the changes that devs had to prevent this, in my opinion, were not great. It was to the extent of killing castle rushing. The options were to either make castle rushing longer to get to, which would essentially kill castle rushing for a lot of civs, because you need to, like, if you're getting all in, you need to rush castle to get the units on the defend. A lot of the possible changes were that the castle units would do less damage, like, would be closer to stats to feudal units. And I thought that was as long as some other people thought it was a big mistake, because if the castle units are closer to feudal units, do you know what happens? French never advances to castle because they're just gonna crap on you. That's the problem. Rus and French, with that change, and English would completely dominate, because why would you go castle when you can just stay in feudal and use your unique units to destroy everyone? Right? There were also suggestions from the players, from the devs, to make the towers not being able to be garrisoned at all, which I was like, I mean, yeah, but what's the point of building towers then on your gold mine and stuff like that, right? So there was a lot of options like this. The main issue that the feedback that devs got, and that we've been told, is that it is too easy to defend with the TC and rushing castle, which is true, especially for HRE, and that raiding under TC is impossible even for French knights. Like early game, you can't really raid under TC. Like your knight is gonna get fucked. Even more so for horsemen. I was the one who actually gave the suggestion, why don't you reduce the number of garrison slots in TC, and then people will be forced to do extended feudal that way, because you can't just hide in your buildings forever. You have to make units. If you garrison less workers, you have to make units, because where are you going to garrison them? Now, this one I did not suggest, but I don't hate it yet. I need to try it. This one, I did not suggest to nerf the DPS because this already nerfs the DPS. Like, that was my point. If you nerf the number of units garrison in TC, you are already nerfing DPS of the TC. But it seems that they went an extra mile and also nerfed the attack speed, which is almost twice as long. Not quite almost, but... So now you only get 15 arrows bonus and the longer attack speed, which again will definitely do what it's supposed to. This will extend feudal. Because like I said, if people just run horsemen or knights under your TC, if it does less damage, and you're not like gathering resources, you're gonna lose the game. So now you have to build units. Now, with that being said, I did say to devs that if this change does go through, certain civs will need help, aka Hrine feudal. Because if you're extending feudal, which I have no issues with, you need to help the civs and nerf the civs that are good in it. Like, you need to nerf French, possibly even English feudal, buff them later on in other ages, but you need to buff HRE in feudal, or, you know, some of the other civs to help them in feudal. Let me give you a TLDR. Right now, AOE4 meta, I personally enjoy it, but right now the meta is half the civs are doing everything to rush the castle and half the civs are doing everything to stop that. That's how the meta is right now, and I just accept it, like that's the meta, that's how it is. But that is the meta. And I think what the devs want is for every civ to have a reason and option to go for castle, but also have an option to stay in feudal. Now, is this going to get achieved with this one patch? Probably not. I would assume it will need adjustments, especially because of this change. But I'm just explaining to you guys why the changes are happening. And I personally, as a viewer, not as a player, I'll say as a viewer, I personally enjoy more feudal battles and people denying each other's food, rather than one guy is clenching his butt cheeks, oh god, I'm gonna get to castle, and the other guy is like slamming his fucking head onto the wall trying to stop it. Let's move on. Outposts. Now this is the one, if you guys remember a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, I said there's a change coming that the community as a whole will love. And this is the change. Outposts health reduced from 1000 to 750 health. Now this is a big fucking nerf. Build time increased from 45 seconds to 60 seconds. And outpost garrison attack interval increased from 112 to 188. So this is a change that I was talking about a week ago, if you guys remember. And I think this is a change that everyone will love, no matter what level you are on. I do agree with, again, not a big fan of the triple nerf. Remember that? Always talk about triple nerf. I don't think this was needed specifically. These two I love, especially the build time. But the health one, the 250 less health, is a lot. It's quite a lot of health to not have to deal with. But I think that this change is a great one. Tower rushing has been consistent strong strategy for a long while, and our changes to towers are to make it more difficult to place them offensively. Now they take longer to build and have less health, so it should give defenders a larger window for counterplay together with ram buffs. Tower rushing should be a lot more feasible to deal with in a proper manner, rather than auto-losing the game if the tower is placed. What about wooden fortresses? I would assume they're also nerfed. Base defense is also gimped. Well, yes, that's how it works. And I've said this many times. With these kinds of changes, there is no way for a tower offensively to be nerfed without nerfing them defensively. And I always said this when people were celebrating like the -1 range on towers. I said, yeah, but you also have -1 on defense. I'm assuming Roost Tower is also nerfed. I don't know, but I would assume so. Now, this change, I just realized why it's in, by the way. This change is in because the The defenses no longer favor Ram as a target. So defensively, I think that the defensively towers will still be way better than they are now because the shots will not be wasted on Rams. They're gonna go on actual units. Because I think if you would put 5 units in a tower and the tower auto selects like archers and spearmen, it'd be fucking OP as hell. Like, how do you engage that? Right? So nerfing the DPS on it a little bit, I feel like is more so for that. Now those are all the changes. Now let's go into Civ Specific Changes. Delhi Sultanate. Tower Elephant, health reduced from 860 to 600. Ranged armor increased from 4 to 7. I don't like this change. I told devs I don't like this change. They went through with it. I think 600 health might be very low for a unit that costs 1,000 resources. Elephants are very expensive, and 600 health is not a lot of health. Ranged armor increased, so the idea is that you have to make spearmen and cavalry in order to deal with the elephants, which I personally don't have the problem with. I do think that this health cut might have been too much. I mean, I'm assuming it's like they're buffing the armor, but they're reducing the health. I would have personally liked to see health like maybe 750, 700, see how that goes, and then go from there. But 600 health, you will notice elephants dying a lot faster now. And I've been trying, by the way, just so you know, I've been trying for weeks, months now, to get the devs to give the war elephant splash damage. We ain't there yet, but I hope one day they will. I do think that this is overdoing it. I don't mind this and then nerfing a little bit of health because you're buffing armor, but 260 less health is a bit too much. Or if they did this, if they put a cost for the elephant 300, 600, 300, 500, 300 food, 500 gold, I wouldn't mind it. But the same cost and all? I don't know. And let's not forget, the healing is nerfed too. So yeah. French. Town center production rate bonus set to 10% in Dark Age, 10% in Feudal, 15% Castle, 20% Imperial. Now, what does that put us? This is 19, 19, and then 18, 17? 18, 18, 17, 16, right? Yeah, 18, 18, 17, 16, yeah. And it used to be 10%, 15%, 20%, 20%. So right now, the villager in Feudal will be produced 1 second longer, and the villager in Castle will be produced 1 second longer from what it used to be. I personally think that this change is great. I think one of the biggest, like, people mulled about knights, and yes, knights are strong, but one of the biggest strengths about French is that if you're fighting, even if you ain't killing shit, you're getting ahead. If you're not killing anything, you're still getting ahead because you're producing more villagers. So I think this is it's not a massive nerf, but it is a nerf, and I like the way they went about nerfing it. I wouldn't mind if they nerfed their economic upgrades being cheaper as well by a little bit. I don't know what it is right now, how much cheaper it is. Let's say it's 30%. I would like it to be 20%, right? Instead of that much. So I think a nerf there would be pretty good as well to get it in line with some of the other civs, because they already get economic buildings for free. So I personally like this change. Is it enough for French? I don't know. I would still like to see a change for chivalry, the one that I mentioned before. I would like the cost of chivalry to get reverted to the old one, but the knights can only heal while you're standing, or a knight healing is an activation ability that has a minute cooldown, and if you take damage, it stops and you have to wait for cooldown again, which I think is a great way to nerf native French, because it would make them a lot harder to play, especially in lower leagues where most people struggle against French, because you would have to actively click on healing in order to heal. Anyway, it's a nerf. What would you give for French late game then? Again, I already suggested this. I think that if you make, what is it called? College of Artillery, I think you should get cauldrons from normal workshops as well, because it doesn't make any sense not to. But I don't know. There's always things that you could do to French late game, but I don't know. I think this is fine for now. HRE. HRE emergency repair cooldown increased from 60 to 75. My suggestion was to increase it to 90 seconds. They increased it to 75. I think emergency repairs is probably one of the most broken abilities and Civ specific things in the game. It's insane, especially now that keeps cost stone to repair. So it's one of the things I've suggested in my video that I suggested to devs. So I love this. I would even love it if it went down to up to 90 seconds instead, because the 60 seconds aren't 60 seconds, it's actually 40 seconds. Because the cooldown now is 60, the healing lasts for 20, by the time the healing finishes, the cooldown is already going. So the cooldown is technically 40 seconds, it's not 60. And 40 seconds is a little bit too short, I think we can all agree. In combination with this change, we feel that town center changes and the RAM change should make HRE fast tech strategy much riskier, will make punishing greedy HRE players much easier than before. Prelates, like life, have found a way to exploit their shiny new attack move behavior. We have ensured they respect the cooldown of the inspiration. I love how the devs are like, they had enough of fucking prelate shit at this point. They're like, these motherfuckers are bugged again. Little shits. Alright, well, they're fixed. Mongols. Now, this change, guys, I've been asking. Look, this is weird. This is the most exciting change for me personally. I suggested a lot of different ways for the devs to buff Mongols. This was not one of them. But I actually love the change, okay? Mongol S tier. No, I'm joking. Mongol now begin the game with a packed Gur. I think this is really cool. I don't think it's OP, okay? I don't think it's gonna be OP. This is why I don't think it's gonna OP. They have the slowest feudal by far. It's not even comparable. With the best spawn, their feudal time is the fucking slowest, alright? They also get fucked on a villager, right? Because you have to place your TC. Now, why do I love this change? You might be like, this is whatever. This change, are you ready? Allows you to not have to put your TC next to a wood line. You can put your TC on deer, you can put it on berries, you can put it wherever the fuck you want, and you don't need to place your TC next to wood. And I think that's great. Now imagine playing Mongols or on like maps like Altai or Hillendale. You can put TC on deer and you can farm them bitches from the get-go. Bitches being the deer, of course. How exciting is that? That to me is the cool thing about this change, okay? Not that it's like you get a Gur. Getting a Gur is great, but that's what I'm excited about. Also, one of the most annoying things about Mongol, and if there's any Mongol gamers in the chat, please press KW right now. One of the most annoying things is, doesn't matter what civ you play against, you spawn and your fucking gold is like on the other side of the map. And then not only you get fucked because it's on the other side of the map and it's nowhere close to the wood line, but you also gotta chop the wood so you can go get the fucking gold. Like, to me, that was the stupidest thing ever. And then sometimes you get a spawn where gold is next to the wood and it's a different game. Like, your economy works different, everything was different. Your fuel is not delayed by 30 seconds or a minute anymore. And it's a lot better. But now, like for example, right? If you rush castle as Mongols, you put the TC on gold and you go and chop wood on the wood line with your Gur. That's big brain. And that's what I like about this change. Yeah, you can go insta wheelbarrow. That's right. Is putting the TC next to deer better? I don't know, but I'm going to be testing that. And the reason I've been still playing Mongols recently is because I knew this change was coming and I'm kind of excited for it. I think Mongol might still not be, you know, very good, but it will be more playable. See, the thing is, this will reduce the RNG of the Mongols. And you know what, another thing, you don't need to place your TC somewhere like in the corner. You can just put your TC where you're spawning, and then technically you don't lose a whole villager, you lose like 30% of the villager build time. And that's what this girl allows you to do. Or you can do stuff like you mine 100 gold for a tech up, and then you place your gur somewhere else and you start chopping that. The possibilities are there. That's all I'm gonna say. Maps. I don't know about the map changes. Let's look. The gold generation locations on Alta have been giving a pass after seeing accessible not to ensure both sides of gold deposits don't spawn forward with one player. Additionally, the large deposit gold is okay. I don't. It's too long. The gold spawns are changed, guys. That's it. To be better, I'm assuming, not to be worse. Okay. Ancient Spires. We put in a check in the Ancient Spire map script to fix an issue where player's starting pawn could stomp out one of the trade posts. The map should always spawn 2 trade posts on the opposing side of the map. Ooh, bug fixes. Those are always exciting. Horse archers and the arrows no longer lose attack speed when they're upgraded. Fix the crashes that would occur when clicking on a match summary and attempting to view the replay immediately. Fix the bug where it was possible to repair structures even when you don't have the necessary resources. What? Villagers will no longer T-pose. Bruh, I don't know what the fuck T-posing villagers is. Alright, whatever. New icons were created for Abacid Market. Okay, that's huge. Guys, I know what a T-pose... I know what a T-pose means. I just... French 3rd and 4th, okay. Player color minimap changes. Adjusted the orange color so that it's easier to distinguish it from the red. Updated the black outline thickness of unit icons and minimap so their color stands out more. Vanguard Rangers and Raiders added to the English tech tree. I gotta be honest, I haven't made a single one of these. In the next episode, coming up, Naval Balance. Whoop, 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 whoop. Enhanced tactical RPS gameplay. Starting in the feudal age, you'll have access to 3 ships, which have strong bonuses against each other, making it for exciting tactical engagements. Who said that that's how you fix water? Who said it? Who said it? Who said there should be rock, paper, scissors on the water? Thank you very much. Everyone. That's right. Everyone said it, and we're finally fucking getting it. Earlier engagements. We're making ships more affordable, so expect to have bigger battles that start earlier in the game. Responsiveness tuning. Faster movement speed and more responsive tuning of all ships. Rework balance, new costs, stats, and enhancements available. New costs and stats. And enhancements. Naval map changes. Adding more wood and ensuring fair distribution of fish along many improvements to naval maps. Wow! There it is, brother. And with that, maybe Delhi and Abbasid won't be shit on water. If you guys love this patch, spam keg W's. If you hate it, give me a kappa. Let's do a check. Okay, mostly keg W's. Some kappas, okay. Okay. No, that's the same kappas there. That doesn't count. That's a permaban. I personally don't know. By the way, just a warning for everyone. Just a warning, okay? Big warning. Monk ass right now. This is serious. Warning to everyone out there. The game is about to change and the game is getting pushed more into feudal. Warning. You are about to be attacked and all in a little more than before. Warning. HRE players. You probably will not be able to go naked castle anymore. Or if you do, it will be a little harder. Warning tower enjoyers. Your towers are not as strong. And the biggest warning of them all. The game will change in feudal. prolonged feudal is most likely happening. What this means is that some civs might be stronger than others. You might see a resurgence of English a little bit in feudal. You might see Mongol win rates go up a little bit to 32%, but that doesn't mean that Mongols are OP. We're about to enter an adjustment period for every civ. And yes, French will still probably be really good, but the changes are made. This is what the developers want the game to be more like. More battles, more feudal, more aggression, into castle, into more fighting, into more aggression. There might be a period now where certain civs will spike up in win rates, but if that is the case, I am sure and I hope that devs will address that. Thank you for listening. Can't wait for new bugs. Hell yeah, brother, preach it. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the changes and the next big patch that we'll have, I'm assuming for Season 3, is the naval changes. Hell yeah. Now get out there, play some games, and enjoy the game.